Howdy, I'm Clay Carlino, and I do stuff. And one of the things that I do is perform unnecessary surgery on my toys. I also hold this cat, which really wants to walk around on my keyboard. Hello, Dudley. Say hello to everybody. And for those who don't know, Dudley's unofficial other name is Crusher, because Nathan Fillion insists that since I have one cat who's named Wesley, the other cat should be named Crusher. So say hello to Crusher, everybody. Since it's on the internet, that makes it true. So I love you, Dudley. Or Crusher. Yeah, he's... And there he goes. He does not want to stay. So, welcome everyone. Joy is here. Cheeky Boy is here, and Nathan Fillion is here. Justin Riley is here. Thank you all for joining me on a Friday night. We'll get this party started early. This one's for you. Of course, my traditional apple juice. See, you don't know. It could be. You don't know. I'm just going to take a sip. Okay, so Quentin's here. Hey, Quentin. Welcome. Thank you for joining us. So this has been a heck of a week. Just catching people up on stuff that I'm sure you don't care about, but I spent so Sunday. I'm just gonna share this, okay? And Mr. Fillion, you don't have to comment on this, but Sunday I pulled an all-nighter. It's my own fault, okay? I'm just gonna say that it is my own fault. I had a big project that needed to be done for Tuesday. Yes, it was my... Okay. I had a big project that needed to be ready for Tuesday, and I was not at all ready by the end of Thursday, and I didn't work on it Friday, and then I didn't work on it Saturday. So Sunday afternoon, after I got done working, I was actually, that's a little bit loud. Okay, there we go. Sunday afternoon, after I was done mowing the lawn, and I also helped a neighbor with their car, and I also helped another neighbor by mowing the front of their lawn. I was busy Sunday, and I spent more time than I should have. But anyway, Sunday afternoon, after I was done doing that stuff, I came in and I started working on that project, and I figured, okay, I'll put in some extra hours here, and
I don't know. I have a bad feeling about this.
And that's pretty much how it went. So I kind of thought maybe I'd just put in several hours and get it to a good stopping point. And it's one of those things where the longer I spent, the more I realized how much more I had to do. So I did not sleep Sunday. I just worked straight through, and then worked normal hours Monday. I did kind of knock off a half hour early on Monday. So that's confession. It's now streamed online. Everybody knows that I knocked off a half hour early on Monday, and
Shame.
I'm sorry. Anyway, but then I also got up early on Tuesday to finish things up so that the stuff would be ready for later that day, which it was, and it went really well, and people seemed to like it. So that was good, but that just made it a really long week. And so here we are on Friday, and I'm feeling good. I have gotten sleep, and...
Wait, I still function. Wanna bet?
No, I recovered. I function. I'm functioning. So, yeah, Mr. Fillion says, I heard that. And yes, you are correct, Mr. Fillion. You never sleep either. Like, and you know, for somebody that already doesn't use sleep like a normal person, when you don't sleep, it's catastrophic. So I feel for you. Did I say hi to Justin? And Kyoji is here. Kyoji. So you know, this one is for Kyoji and Justin and any of you who I haven't seen and I haven't named. That's good apple juice. But by the length of that, I wondered if I was supposed to keep going. But yeah, one of these days, I'm gonna convince my friend Dawn to join me on one of these things. It's gonna happen. So sleep is for losers from Mr. Fillion.
Just do it! Just do it! Don't let your dreams be dreams. Nothing is impossible.
Thank you, Shia LaBeouf. Actual cannibal, Shia LaBeouf, ladies and gentlemen. So, anyway, the Autobot build team. So, Connie's here. Hey, Connie. Okay. Connie apparently says that losers here. You know what? I'm with you, Connie, because I'll tell you what. Sleep is great. I love sleep. It feels so good. And then waking up and not getting out of bed, just being warm under the covers. I mean, that's great. Oh my gosh, it feels so good. So this is to you, Connie, and this is to sleep. So, thank you, Cheeky Boy. Cheeky Boy says that my cat is beautiful. He is. Both of my cats are beautiful. And I don't mind telling everyone that you might disagree, but we all know the truth. My cats are better than everybody else's cats. Stand by it. So, anyway, we are here to talk about how many people remember the 2001 Transformers series Robots in Disguise. Not to be confused with the 2015 Robots in Disguise Transformers series. This one, hey, you know what? Connie says that sleep and Animal Crossing are her life. You know what? Monica can attest to that, although she's also, you know, that's not just your life. I happen to know that you're very busy. So, oh, hey, Hope! Everyone say hi to Hope! And just let everybody say shame on Hope, because she says naughty words in the privacy of our private conversations. So, you know, shame her, okay? Just, you know, Hope, we know what kind of words you say. Shame on you. Especially when I throw her in a hot tub. It only happened once, but it was enough. So, oh, Colleen's here! Hey, Colleen! This is the part of the show where I wave to everybody that I see pop up on the chat. Hello, Colleen! This one's for you. I'm going to have to stop saying hi to people, or I'm going to be apple juice inebriated within the first 10 minutes of this broadcast.
Double kill.
Yeah. So, anyway, in 2001, there was a series of Transformers called Robots in Disguise. And I remember when I saw these toys hit the shelves, the first time, it gave me goosebumps, because this was the first time since Gen 1 that I saw several things. For one thing, we were back to Transformers as realistic vehicles. The other thing is, we got Autobot and Decepticon signs back. You know, in Generation 2, I guess there was this kind of weird thing where Marvel owned the rights to the insignias, and so Hasbro went with different insignias for Generation 2, and then during Beast Wars they had a whole bunch of different insignias. I mean, you had Maximals and Predacons, but then you had different insignias for every subgroup. There was an Insecticons insignia and a Dinobots insignia, and they're kind of going crazy with it, and I feel like it watered down the branding of that stream, because like right now I couldn't draw an accurate Maximal symbol. I might get it sort of close, and I remember that the Predacons looked sort of like Waspinator's head. In fact, judging by the storyline, it may have actually been made out of Waspinator's head because he lost it often. So, what am I? Oh, apparently every time I say Transformers, no. Okay, Monica is rejecting, Mr. Fillion is trying to create a drinking game where every time I say Transformers, I take a drink, and she is nixing that. I'm not opposed to drinking games, but boy, that would be a lot. I feel like we need to pick something a little bit more obscure. So keep it going. Keep it going. Anyway, so back in 2001, I saw these toys on the shelves, and these were the first Transformers toys that reminded me of the Gen 1 era that I grew up in. Let's see, I think that Generation 2 happened in what, 1987? Maybe 89? So, it seemed like a decade. Yeah, we know this. That's why we're all here, because I'm a nerd. And Hope is telling me that I am so bad. Am not. So, I have mixed feelings about this next set that we're going to talk about. And I'm going to say that these are some of my favorite toys that are odd and need help. So I'm going to bring this out. This is what we're all talking about. This is Landfill. He is named after a garbage dump, and he is a combiner, and he is very, very unusual. He is from the Robots in Disguise line, which had a lot of really, really odd toys. It was a strange line. There were the very, very simplistic spy changers, which were kind of built like Matchbox toys. They were meant to roll along the floor at speed, and they had very simple transforms, and they were probably Hasbro's answer to GoBots, if Hasbro were still answering to GoBots. But I think that by then they had already bought that. So you had the Spy Changers, and then you had the Autobot Brothers, which were ridiculously complicated, but very realistic vehicles and good robot modes as long as the kibble didn't get in the way of the limbs. And then you had Decepticons that still had a lot of beast modes, so there was still some carryover and some influence from the Beast Wars era. The Megatron was a dragon. He was a two-headed dragon, and that was another carryover from the Beast Wars era. And you had these guys, and they are a combiner, but they are a combiner made of 4 characters. You've got one character for each leg, and his one foot is stuck, so I'm trying to fix the foot here. It doesn't want to... Maybe, there we go. So you've got, a character here and a character here, and then you've got Wedge here in the front that makes up the chest, and then you've got another character in the back that makes up both of the arms. Very, very weird. And unlike a lot of the other combiner toys that had the ability for different characters to become different limbs, with Landfill, they actually really embraced that. With all of the Quintro combiners, the Scramble City combiners from the Gen 1... Oh, yes. Okay, so Kyoji was just commenting that he remembers these guys being different colors, and you are correct, Kyoji. When these were released for the American release, Wedge here was yellow. Grimlock in the back, yeah, he's not a dinosaur. In fact, from all accounts, he has no relation to the Gen 1 character, but I think they wanted to keep the name for copyright reasons. So the backhoe character was named Grimlock. He was green. And then you had the dump truck character was orange, I believe. And then you had the Sky Crane character that was red. And the Sky Crane character was Hightower, the dump truck was Heavy Load, and then you had Grimlock and Wedge. Those were the 4 characters. So, yes, and Megatron, yes, Kyoji is correct also. Kyoji, you know what, here's one to Kyoji, because Kyoji knows his shit. Okay, so this one's... Kyoji was just commenting on Megatron. I'm going to pull out Megatron. Since I've got him. Oh. Mason Fur is here! Oh, holy crap. Okay, wait a minute here. Let me grab Megatron. Okay. Megatron and I are toasting Mason Fur. Oh, yes. I know. In Robots in Disguise, I don't think that he said yes, but you know what? Beast Wars Megatron is near and dear to my heart, so I'm just going to pretend that he's the same Megatron from that era. So anyway, this is Megatron, and oh, his head wants to come off. There we go. He is a double-headed dragon. He's actually a very cool toy. You know, he's got dynamic limbs, and he's got a tail, and he is a 6 changer. And I am not going to do all 6 modes because you don't want to see that. The thing is that with his modes, some of them are better than others. Like the gargoyle mode is pretty cool, and at some point we're gonna really tear down about Megatron, but it's so much work. I feel like if I go into Megatron, we're not gonna get to the build team. One of his modes is a hand, though. They actually make him turn into just a hand. That's all I have to say about that. But anyway, this is Megatron from Robots in Disguise, and he is a 6 changer. Okay, can we go with the drinking game that every time I say Megatron, I take a drink? You know, okay. Mr. Field really Mr. Fillion really wants a drinking game here, so when I say Megatron, oh. Alright, so there we go. That all counted as 1, Mr. Fillion. Let's not try and get me, you know, messed up. So, anyway, back to Landfill. Landfill was very unique because they actually named the different configurations. So, you know, this was the most common. This was, I think, called Hurricane mode. And then if you had Hightower as the arms, then that was Typhoon mode, I think. And then, no, that was Cyclone mode. And then if you had Heavy Load as the arms, that was Typhoon mode. And, you know, apparently, like this mode was the best in general, like best for both attack and defense, and then the other one was better for close combat, and the other one was better for power or something like that. They were making stuff up. I respect the fact that they were embracing it, but I just have to say that this is not very impressive. Let's go over to the other cam, and I'm gonna put him next to Gen 1 Devastator. And okay, so here we go. This is Landfill, and you can see he's not even that much bigger than Devastator. However, he is only made up of 4 guys. I do not like the spindly arms. Grimlock actually has a lot of problems, and the spindly arms that he creates is just one of them. He has big blocky legs. He has this kind of codpiece thing here, and a very thin torso. He needs help. So now the nice thing is, this is not the only way that you can transform him, and so I've done some things to improve him and the individual characters. So there's so much stuff. I'm almost unsure where to begin. So instead, what I'm going to begin with is the repaint. There was a oh, by the way, just to answer Kyoji's question before about the colors, this is the Walmart exclusive gift pack of these characters that were all the same color. Normally you had to buy them one at a time, and they were each a different color, and I was never a big fan of combiners that every character was a different color. I liked it much better when the team had cohesion. That's one of the things that Devastator always had going for him, and something that they went back to with Predaking. You know, they said, hey, you know, this team needs an identity, give them a similar color scheme, and then you know that the characters are all on the same team, and it makes for a really good robot. And so I was never a fan of every character is a different color, and so when I saw the Walmart exclusive, oh, AJ Stinson is here, by the way. This is one for AJ. So when I saw the gift pack that had all of them together and all sharing a similar color scheme, it was a no-brainer. Also, the Walmart gift pack was significantly cheaper than buying the toys separately. So it was a win-win-win-win-win. So yeah, that's what I've got. I've got the Walmart exclusive, and I really like that one. There was, however, a repaint done. I'm just gonna pull this out. This is Transformers Universe Devastator. And if you read the bio, I think that I had to look it up online. Supposedly, the Autobot build team was captured by Unicron and reprogrammed by the Robo Smasher and turned into Decepticons. And so they gave most of the characters Constructicons names. So Wedge became Bone Crusher, and Hightower became, Heavy Load became Long Haul, and Grimlock became Scavenger, and Hightower stayed Hightower. I think they lost the rights to Hook for a while, and so Hightower just stayed Hightower. I guess maybe he was kind of borderline all the time, and he didn't really feel the need to have a new name when he was a Decepticon. I don't know, but nonetheless, I like this toy. Even with all of its obvious flaws, I like the toy. And so, of course, when I saw the Universe version, I had to get it. And, you know what? So AJ Stinson was just asking if anybody remembers the video game tie-in for the 2007 movie. Let me tell you, that video game was poop. It was quite possibly one of the worst games ever created. I remember trying to play it, and here's what would happen. Okay, so you would be an Autobot, with the crappy Michael Bay designs, and you would be on a mission to fight some Decepticons. And what would happen is there was what was called the battle zone, and if you exited the battle zone, then you would lose the mission. And like it would say, you have exited the battle zone. You have 30 seconds to get back in the battle zone. Well, the Decepticons would just wander outside of the battle zone, and they'd keep firing on you, and you couldn't do anything to them because they were outside of the battle zone, and you couldn't leave because if you left to go fight the Decepticons, then you would lose. And I played it for as long as I could stand it, and then no. So the movie tie-in is absolutely as fantastic as the movies were.
Freedom is the right of all sentient beings.
And my freedom is to never revisit that horrible era in Transformers history. Thank you. So, yeah. So I'm, breaking stuff was probably the funnest part of that game. I remember, like, the first couple of minutes when I was breaking everything. I'm responding to AJ again. He's talking about breaking stuff in the game. And breaking stuff was by far the most fun that you could get out of that game, which, kind of got old after a while. So, yeah, it was bad. It was bad. So, anyway... So, when I had the opportunity, once again, I got these all together in one set, and I love the colors. Just love the colors. I love, obviously my heart's in Gen 1, but this is just a nice color scheme in its own right, and the fact that it looks like Gen 1 Devastator, hey, I'm all for it. So, I'm going to show you some things on this one because I have performed unnecessary surgery on Landfill, and we're going to get to that. But yes, I know I've hacked into my toys, and you'll see why. Okay, so I'm going to take this guy apart. So here's what they did. Okay, each character has this similar connection tool, and then the front guy has this little pivot point here that you plug into that and you rotate, and then you peg him in, and that's how the chest attaches. And it's brilliant. I mean, I have to give the designers of this a huge shout out, because this is something unlike anything that we've ever seen before or since, and I would argue that next to Skylinks, this is the most unique combiner the Transformers have ever created to this day, and so I really respect that. And so and also one other thing that's amazing about these toys is, yes, he's awkward looking, but he also needs no extra parts in order to form the robot. Notice that. Wait here, I'm going to put this guy back in here for just a second. So, yeah, he's got these claw hands, but you're not adding fists. He's got these tire feet. I guess he's tired of walking. I apologize for everything that happened within the last 20 seconds. So, yeah, he's got no extra parts, and he's posable. That was also something that you didn't get with combiners for the most part. You can move his limbs around and get him into dynamic poses, and all of his extra bits can be used as weapons. They're awkward weapons, but like here, let me let me just take... So, this is the dump truck, or this is the dumper from, I guess it's the pail from the dump truck. And you see it makes this claw thing. Okay, that's cool. And this is the crane from Hightower. And look how it transforms. Look, you go like this. And then the gun comes out. And then, yeah, look at the way that hinge does that thing. Okay, that's a little blurry there. You know what? I think this calls for the super close. There we go. We're on super close cam, and yeah. So there we go. That is that is really cool. And once again, fantastic engineering. I mean, these guys were using so much imagination for how to solve the mechanical complexities of the transforms here. I really have to hand it to them. And so understand that when I get into the points where I start complaining about stuff, because we're going to get there, just letting you know, we're going to get there. It's done out of love. It is done with respect as one industrial designer looking at the work of another industrial designer, and I've never gotten to work on anything as cool as this. So, you know, they're in their own league, but nonetheless, we all know, all of us in the design field, all of you artists out there, all of you makers, you know that you reach a point with every project where you need to be done. And you see something that's like, oh, you know, I kind of wish it were better, but I'm out of time, I'm out of resources, and sometimes you just have to make a decision and go with it. And I would say that overall, what they achieved with this combiner is monumental. Absolutely monumental. So, and I think that's why I love him so much. Even with the kind of awkward completed form, and we will get to ways that I've tried to improve that. So,
And remember, we care.
So also we have the backhoe, which has this claw, and see, the claw just collapses in there, it snaps in. So, you know, very, very cool accessories, all built into the figures. So I'm gonna take off this would be Bone Crusher, however the Autobot version is Wedge, and we're going to transform him. So you put the head right in there. See, I don't have to add the head. The head is built in. And then we kind of move the treads down like this. There is a little hinge point right here, and it does this kind of double hinge thing. And then you can take the cod piece here. And I'm trying to, I always get it backwards. Whichever way I do it is going to be backwards for the other one, for the way that it's supposed to go. I think, is it like that? No, wait, no. So, see, I did it backwards. Okay, so the little points go down, I think, and then, yeah, there we go. So, and then you have a bulldozer. And see, he's a good bulldozer. He looks good. And then we have Grimlock here, and we're going to transform him into a backhoe. No, we're not there yet. Okay, technically this is Scavenger because this is the Decepticon version, but it's based off of the mold of Grimlock, and if you believe the fan fiction or the write-up, then it actually is Grimlock just turned into a Decepticon. And we don't know if he stayed a Decepticon or if he was ever cured. We don't know the answers to these questions. So, yeah. He has a really odd transform. I'm going to try and get it correct, but and his arm comes off. Oh, Grayscale is here! Hey, everybody, say hi to Grayscale! That one's for you, Grayscale. Now, we could do a drinking game for every time that I mispronounce Grayscale's name and call him Grayskull. That would be a good drinking game, because I have a bad habit of getting his name wrong, and I apologize for that, Grayscale. I think that at some point in my life I should get that right, but I think I'm doing okay today. Now, if I have a few more sips of apple juice, then I may not. But nonetheless, so Grimlock's arm has popped off again, because that's what happens with Grimlock's arm. It's very oddly jointed, and I tried to correct that at one point, and the operation was not completely successful. Which is the risk that you take when you kit bash toys. So, here we go. There we go. And that goes there, and that goes there. And then the head flips up in here. And this is not... Grayscale was saying that this does not look like water. It is not. It's apple juice. Everybody just tell Grayscale that this is apple juice. Oh, apparently I had to... If I reference the apple juice, I have to drink some of the apple juice. So, we got all sorts of rules about the apple juice. Apparently, if I mention Megatron, I have to drink some of the apple juice also. That one's for you, Mr. Fillion. So let's see here, and then there's a ton of joints in here. Look at that. Okay, that is a mess of tiny little intricate joints that you have to know where everything goes, and it has to be perfect in order for these guys to actually turn into vehicles. That would be good drinking music. At some point we may have to use that instead. So, okay, here we go. This is the vehicle mode for Grimlock. And then we plug the shovel in here. And there. I mean, that's a great looking backhoe. And it's fully functional, it pivots around on the treads, and it's got, the shovel action. So, he is an excellent vehicle mode. And I wish that were enough. We'll get to that. Then we've got long haul, aka heavy load. And the nice thing about when they're transformed as legs is their vehicle mode is practically there anyway. And we just have to get this thing out of the way, and it folds underneath and fits right in there. And then you just plug in the pail, turn that to the side. There we go, and that is heavy load, aka long haul. And see, look, they even made it so that it has the dumping motion. Now his front is a little bit weak. Let's go to the super close. So yeah, here's the front. It doesn't look realistic, but I'm okay with it. I like the details. I like the overall kind of large, and I love the big knobby tires. So it's still, I'm okay with the vehicle mode, even though it's not a very convincing vehicle mode. If I saw this driving down the street, it'd be like, oh yeah, that's a Decepticon. For a line called Robots in Disguise, this is like the 5 and 10 disguises that we got at Halloween when I was a kid. You remember it was a plastic vacuum formed mask and a plastic printed kind of smock that would have a picture of the character that you were supposed to be. So like if you were He-Man, you had a cheap plastic He-Man mask and then a picture of He-Man on your chest that says He-Man. It was pretty much the worst. Ashy Slashy, you get out of here! You get out of here! We don't need your kind here! Get out! Get out! No, mine! Would the internet please tell Ashy Slashy to not take my toys? So, oh, AJ has a good solution to the drinking game problem. I could refer to as MT. Let's see if I can stick to that. So, anyway, so yeah, not the most convincing vehicle mode, but it's big, it's functional, it is obviously a dump truck. Is it a convincing dump truck? No. But it's definitely a dump truck. You can't look at it and say, oh, I don't know what that is. Is that a roller skate? Is that a bus? I don't know. No, it's very clearly a dump truck. So I'm okay with it. And then we've got Hightower, who as an Autobot is called Hightower. And we'll just fold this under here if it'll go. There we go. And then we have the Hook TM. see, because they lost the rights to Hook. That's okay. Anyway, and once again, just like with Heavy Load, his vehicle mode is a little less convincing, but he's got the hook here. The top part. Well, it in theory can move around. Yeah, there we go. So we can move that around. Once again, I actually really like these vehicle designs. I know that they're not terribly convincing, but again, I love the knobby tires. I love how solid they are. I mean, these things, even though they've got a million pieces, they are very, very solid. You feel like you could throw this at your sister and you would hurt her. So don't. It's a bad idea. I'm just talking as like 9-year-old Clay who, sometimes lost his temper and would throw his toys. I wouldn't do that now because hurting people is wrong. So, that's right! Joy Thayer was just talking about how Hightower was on Police Academy. You know what? Joy, this one's for you for referencing Police Academy and a Transformers reference that I did not know existed. So, Hightower was on Police Academy. So, let's start with the good. Okay, we're starting with the good. We have, I'm gonna pull out actual Landfill here, and I'm gonna reference him a little bit. So, we've got Wedge, and you've seen that Wedge has a very nice vehicle mode. And now let's put him into robot mode, and you'll see that his robot mode is pretty decent. Let's just flip out the head here, and then the legs are pretty much make up the body. The fronts flip out to make kneecaps. Every robot needs good kneecaps. And thank you, AJ Stinson. The more you know. I know nobody actually sang that, but Monica had to leave the soundboard, so I'm just doing it. Do 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 do. So, no, Mr. Fillion is trying to be a bad influence on me. Probably because Mr. Fillion is aware that up until 6 years ago, I did not imbibe adult beverages. Not that this is an adult beverage, this is apple juice. But nonetheless, I think that he likes seeing just how far I can push my limits, because I am a total lightweight. Like I said, I didn't drink anything with alcohol in it until I was 40 years old. At 40 I decided, you know what, it's probably okay for me to drink. But that was a decision that I had made for a long time, and I don't regret it. It was, my dad had problems with alcohol, and I saw all the ways that he suffered for it. I saw the ways that we suffered for it. And I didn't want to do that to anybody else, so I just didn't. And then as I got older, and my parents were getting into brewing beer, and Monica was getting into brewing beer, and everybody was and they were trying all these craft beers and things like that, and it all seemed so interesting and so fascinating that I thought, I want to take part. It was social, it was fun, and nobody was getting inebriated, nobody was getting angry. It was just fun and social. And so I decided, you know what, I think I can handle it responsibly, and that's what I did. And so I allow myself to imbibe, and I still haven't gotten to the point where I can actually finish a beer. Can't do it. I try, but beer doesn't really taste very good, at least to the untrained palate. But I will say that if this weren't apple juice, if it were, say, just pulling a random alcoholic beverage out of the air, if it were, say, honey whiskey, thank you, it would be delicious. So anyway, that's a little slice of Clay Carlino's past. This is Wedge in his robot mode, and he has a great robot mode. I mean, look at this. This, none of the Gen 1 Constructicons looked this good in their robot modes, and none of them were posable. They couldn't do stuff like this, where, he's like, yeah, I'm going to leap into battle, woo! And, bend at the waist and at the knees and at the elbows. Okay, they were from back in the day when you got this and this, and you could put a gun in one hand, and that was it. So, so you got a great robot mode, a great vehicle mode, and an acceptable combined form that actually achieves a lot of goals. So, that's really impressive. And that's Wedge. So Mr. Fillion is saying, but you can finish special drinks from your neighbor. Finish special drinks from your neighbor. I'm not sure exactly what that means, but I'm gonna. Oh yes. Okay. So, do we want to hear the Clay's only inebriation story? Are we going to talk about this online? Okay. So in the last 6 years, I do imbibe alcohol from time to time. And I have only been really what I'd call snockered once. I mean, I have, there have been plenty of times when I've felt the effects and it's like, oh boy, it's getting warm in here. Or, okay, it's really hard to figure out how to get groove to attach to the front of Defensor. I was right on the border there. I really could not figure out how to get groove on there. And the harder I tried to think, the more I realized, oh, I have killed those brain cells, or at least put them to sleep. So that was kind of close. Oh no, I should have bid the dollar. Anyway, so I was working out on the lawn. I was doing a lot of mowing and trimming and raking and stuff like that. And it was summertime, and I really wanted to go in. I was just about to go in. I was passing by I was walking through my front yard on my way to the door to go inside and just collapse. And my neighbor calls me over. She's got her nephew there, and she's like, "Oh yeah, I want you to meet my nephew. Tell him about your YouTube channel." Well, of course, I always want to talk about my YouTube channel. I mean, the only thing I talk about more than my YouTube channel is Transformers. So, by the way, it is...
No, God! No, God, please, no! No!
Yes!
No!
Yes!
No!
So, it is getting warm in here. The more apple juice I consume, the warmer it gets. There you go, Mr. Fillion. That was like a gulp. So I go next door and she pours me a margarita, and I take a sip and I realize that this margarita has been made with love, and by love I mean booze. And so we're sitting there and we're talking, and I really want to go in. So I talk to the nephew, I tell some jokes, and I'm really downing this thing quickly because I want to get through the drink and then go. Nothing against my neighbor. She was very sweet of her to invite me over, but I was just really tired, and I really wanted to be in my living room collapsing. And I get down to about yay, about that far, and I'm really close to finishing it. I figure I can probably get it in 1 or 2 more swigs. And then she comes over with this pitcher, and she fills it up to the top again. And it's like,
Can you fly, Bobby?
That's what she said. And I was already getting there. But nonetheless, I was determined to be allowed to leave. So I pushed through, and I took bigger, faster drinks of that margarita. And then I got back to that point, and she came by again. And I'm like, no. You're no. And I know she really wanted to top that off, and I was like, no. So I finished that thing. And I politely excused myself. We had our pleasantries, and I was probably over there for, say, 40 minutes. Well, then I stood up. That's when I knew. That's when I knew what countless sitcoms have taught me over my life about drinking alcohol. And I staggered my way back to my house. And I come in the front door, and I've got the worst case of the giggles. And Monica's like, "What's wrong?" And I said, I had margarita, and I start laughing, and Monica was how long had I been imbibing at that point? Oh gosh, that was probably within my second year So I think that was year 2 of imbibing alcohol. And I just start giggling at everything. And Monica, her face, as the dawning realization of what she was witnessing fell upon her.
Please state the nature of the medical emergency.
Her eyes get wide, and the smile, the absolute glee as she declared, "You're drunk!" And I'm like, "Oh! I'm not drunk!" And, you know, it was, oh, boy. It was so... And I must have sat there and giggled with the room spinning for another hour. But that was, yeah, that was my first and last real I'm gone, okay? The brain has checked out. It's just motor functions happening at this point. So, yeah. And Mr. Fillion wants to see that. And he thinks that would make a good lot. No, see, you don't fool me, Mr. Fillion. See, you just want me to get inebriated on camera so that anybody who looks me up, if I ever seek other employment, will say, "Oh, that guy's a lush. I can't hire him." So, and to try and make that happen, we do need a refill. And Quentin has to say goodbye. So, you know, that one was for Quentin. And we will get that refilled, which is important. So, that was Wedge. And you see how I just jump right back into you know, all this stuff. And so, okay, I guess I'll just nobody can see the label. It's just very nicely packaged apple juice. So, let's go ahead and take a look here at another character. We're going to look at Heavy Load. Heavy Load is also, I would say that next to Wedge, he is the strongest figure of, he is the second strongest figure in terms of having a really good design. And, okay, see? Now that is a healthy portion of apple juice. That's pretty much like the equivalent of like 2 shots, right? Yeah, so I've essentially had two apple juice eye. I'm making it plural by adding I. That's legitimate. So this is Heavy Load, and you put the pail on there, and that is his vehicle mode, as we saw. I did some detail painting, by the way. The box set was not very detailed, so I with some little tester's paints, I painted the headlights and the grille and the bumper and the lights on here. And I forgot to paint the tail lights. I know in some of them I did paint my tail light. I thought I did. Maybe I didn't. I need to paint the tail lights. But nonetheless, yeah, I thought it looked a lot more like a truck once I did the detail painting. And I believe that the original versions that were sold separately actually did a lot more detail painting. But you know, the Walmart box set was much less expensive. I'm okay with doing the detail painting myself. So anyway, once again, I like this vehicle mode. And then to go into robot mode, he has a very neat transform. So here's what you do. You pull the arms out to the sides, and I'm going to do that. And you pull the pail away, and you flip out the hands, and you pull out the legs. Okay, they just extend down. Thank you. Yes, it's making the noise. And then you pull out the shoulders like this. Now here's where it gets cool. Watch what they did. This is so cool. Okay, this arm here swings around like this, goes over this joint, just like that, and then the truck cab twists around and the head goes on top, and then this click. Look at that! That is awesome! What a cool transform! I mean, to whoever came up with that, my hat's off to you. That is freaking brilliant. And then, yeah, you can... Yes, Bill and Ted. Bill and Ted are correct. You always listen to Bill and Ted. So you can flip out the heels here. It makes them a little bit more stable with the kibble on the back. But, you know, the kibble on the back doesn't bother me. It sticks out a little bit, but I mean, honestly, he's got a very nice robot mode. And he's got a smirk. Let's go to the super close. We're going to look at the super close here. And look at that head sculpt. Okay? He feels good about life. Like, he's going out on the town after he's done fighting Decepticons and building stuff. So, yeah, it's like, hey, ladies, you like my shades? Uh-huh. So yeah, and again, nice body dynamics. He's just a very cool figure. Now, wait here, I have to transform the legs a little bit better here. They're on these... For the super robot mode, there's some extra hinges in his pelvis that don't need to be there. For the robot mode, I mean. And then, he also has knee joints, so you can get into, cool dynamic poses, and he's got elbow joints. And so, again, a really good, solid robot mode that you can do a lot with. A perfectly serviceable vehicle mode that may not be that convincing, but it also tells the story. No doubt he's a dump truck, and he works as a dump truck. He works as a robot. He's posable. He's got character in his face. This is a great toy. This is awesome. And that's another reason why I love this team. So, you know what? I miss Rufus too. Joy Thayer was talking about how she misses Rufus. Here's one for George Carlin. Rest in peace, George Carlin. We love you. That was a little bit more of a drink than I expected. I'm getting a little bit less careful. I like turtles too. So yeah, this is Heavy Load. Heavy Load is a fantastic toy. So now let's Quentin. Oh wait. What about Quentin? I got a message that said Quentin. Oh, Nathan, are you leaving? Oh, okay. Bye, Nathan. I'm sorry that I didn't get sufficiently snockered for you. We'll try again later. So here's one for Nathan. Nathan, this one will be a good one. That's for you, Nathan. Everybody say goodbye to Mr. Fillion. So this is Hightower. And this is also Hightower, but this one's been modified. So I'm going to start by showing you this one, and then we're going to get into modifications, and then we'll probably talk a little bit about my philosophy about modifications. So to transform him, so for those who haven't figured out, in all of these live streams, I don't know why we decided this. It's just something we started doing, that every time I take a drink of apple juice, then we cue music. I think it started when we had the Scottish apple juice that was accompanied by bagpipes, and then, it just seems appropriate. So, night, Mr. Fillion. We will miss you. Thank you for coming. Thank you very much. You are awesome. So anyway, the robot portions of Hightower are very much the same as with Heavy Load, and I'm starting to feel the apple juice. Now, here's... it's hard for me to be critical of designers who have achieved so much. But I'm sorry, I feel like this is cheating. To transform him the rest of the way, you take off the crane thing, which I'm okay with removing parts, but here's the thing, he's got no head. There's no head here. The head is built into this part. So you remove his head, you plug it into the back, and then you fold this down and pivot it around. That is how you transform Hightower. I understand that there are plenty of parts formers out there. In fact, you know what? I have this guy. This is part of the Earthrise line. He is called Ironworks, and he is a complete parts formers. In order to transform him, you take him apart. You take this off, you take this off, you take these off, and then you disconnect these things, and then you flip up the head, you twist it around, you unfold the arm. Is unfold a word? I'm gonna stand by unfold. You plug it into the side. You have the other arm is a crane, which, you know, cranes as arms, that's awesome. And then you can twist this around, and then you plug this into the back, and you know, we take off this part, we fold out the thigh of this leg and plug it in there. And then we do the same thing on this leg. You fold that out and plug that in. And then you take this panel and just add it right to the back. And then you take his gun and it comes apart and goes back together. And he's got a gun. And that's him. And that's his whole deal. I mean, he is, you know, just like Omega Supreme, his whole shtick is that he comes apart, and that's one of the things that they've been doing with the Siege line and with the with some of the characters in the Earthrise line, is that there's these parts former characters that turn into accessories that can be combined with other characters in the line. So that's his whole deal. I'm okay with that. In fact, I really like it. I wouldn't want the whole line to be that way, but I love this guy, and I love what he can do, and I love the way that you transform him. And I love the whole taking things apart and combining them with other characters thing. So I'm not saying that a parts former is a bad thing, but this is where this guy obviously, like 90% of his transform is conventional transforming. You know, making parts joint in creative and interesting ways and move in creative and interesting ways and make that noise. And having to wait here, to remove the head, I'm sorry, I feel like that's cheating.
Roger.
That's cheating. You know, would it have killed you to have the head built into the chest here? Or, you know, or do something like what you did with Heavy Load, where he has a secondary, you know, cockpit or whatever you want to call, like that little place where a person can sit. If you look at Hook from the original Constructicons, he has, you know, Hook has this, you know, this driver's compartment here for driving the truck, and then there's a machine operator's compartment back here. So why not make the vehicle with two driver's compartments, one of which houses the head? Actually, I'm going to put him on the floor because he wants to fall over. But they didn't, and I did not like that, and so I changed mine. And this is where we get into kit bashing. See, there are many purists out there, many toy collectors. There's a lot of them that don't even... Yes, thank you, AJ Stinson. Decapitation should not be part of your transform unless you are a genuine parts former. So... Oh, headmasters. Headmasters, it's okay for you guys to decapitate yourselves to transform because that's your shtick. But yeah, I didn't like that. And see, there are a lot of purists out there who, they don't even take their toys out of the box, let alone play with them and perform unnecessary surgery on them. But, see, my interest in Transformers has always been a fascination with the problem-solving aspect. And yes, I'm captivated by the storylines. I love the comic books. I love the animated movie. I loved Bumblebee, Michael Bay, Rotten Hell. But there's it's actually what fueled my interest in industrial design. It's the reason why I ended up going back to school for industrial design, because I wanted to design stuff like this. And granted, I haven't gotten to design stuff like this, but it has served me really well over the years. And let me tell you, the reason why I'm good at fixing cars is because I've spent years figuring out how to make parts fit into different places, even when they don't look like they should go. Okay, I have exercised that part of my brain for decades, and now when I look at a car part, it's like, okay, you know what? This strangely shaped thing has bolt holes here, here, here. I can see this place over here that has a similar bolt pattern. I think that it goes there. And that's one of the things that has made me good at my job and good at the things that I do to survive. So, you know, my hat's off to Hasbro. My hat's off to the designers in Japan who originally came up with this whole thing, who invented transforming robot toys, because you guys made me smarter. And so when I see a toy that is so close to being awesome, so close to being amazing, but he just misses it by a head, I can't let that stand. And as you see, I have not kit bashed this one because, you know, it doesn't mean that I wouldn't ever, but I kind of wanted to leave this one alone since I was already doing all sorts of terrible things to this one. So here's what I did. This is not Hightower's original body. It is Hightower's arms, and it is, I think, let me look. I think it is Hightower's legs. Yes, it is Hightower's arms and his legs. The body belongs to an extra heavy load that I found at a discount store. And the extra heavy load has an extra passenger compartment. And so I took the head off of Hightower. His whole head thing that flips off there. Well, I took that off and I put it in here. And then the version that I had, I wonder if I have an extra one around here for parts purposes. Do I? No, I don't. Here, let's go to the super close. So if you look at the chest, it has all that detail molded into it. Well, on the Walmart version that I have, that was all painted silver. and then the rest of it was yellow. So what I did was I hand painted a similar pattern onto the roof of that passenger compartment right there. See? And that's just, you know, it's not perfect, but it's, you know, for hand painting, I'm kind of proud of it. I think that it looks pretty decent. And I painted in the shadow so that it would look dimensional. And so now his transform is like this. You pull out the legs, you flip out the feet, just like this. You can hear Dudley in the background complaining because he's part Siamese, and that's what he does. He's an adorable cat. I love that cat. And I don't mind that he chatters. I actually, it always brings a smile to my face. So, and then once again, that brilliant swing around, and then now the crane portion goes over his back instead of the dump truck, and now this passenger compartment goes right up here, and it opens, and we have Hightower. And I like that so much better. I just like it better. And it you know, the difference in the vehicle mode is that that his crane portion is up on top of this thing instead of being flat against the body of the vehicle, and I'm okay with that. You know, it's not a super convincing vehicle to begin with, so to have that, I'm okay with it. Yeah, Duddies. Do you want back up here? You can be up here if you want. Well, no, he doesn't want up here. So, you know, I think that's awesome. And you know, here I'll show you the vehicle mode again, because now you can see the difference. So we'll just move that around there, and that around there, and that around there, and connect the legs, straighten out the knees, and push them in, just like that. Flip the feet down, flip the heels up. Thank you, Dudley. Oh, wait, here. You have to have the arms in order to do the feet with him. And he is making such a fuss. He comes into the room and he's like, eh. It's like, dude, it's not that bad, I promise you. So, okay, and then I have this post here, which just plugs in there. And see, I took the whole head assembly off there. And so now this is his vehicle mode, and he has the driver compartment here and then the machine operator compartment there. And yes, there's this big gap here where this is no longer like flat up against the body of the vehicle. I personally am okay with that. I'll show you him. I know we're doing a lot of transforming and flipping things back and forth, and that's just what we're doing in this live stream. We're getting jiggy with it. And with him, I will pull the thing off, and this flips there. My voice is getting a little bit raw. So, I have to turn his head around. So, there we go. And now this goes on here, and that goes on here. So, here is the original vehicle mode, and you see how this is nice and flat. But it also can't rotate easily, because it catches on these little things. So, if I want to rotate it, I kind of have to lift it up, which is okay. But, you know, that's... And that's how that works. And then this is the new version, and and you can see that that's a little bit higher up. So yeah, so that is my enhancement of this. And just so you understand, I've been kit bashing toys for a long time. These are not the first, nor will they be the last, that I have taken an X-Acto knife to and taken pieces apart and done some repainting and stuff like that, because that's what I do. And that's part of my enjoyment of the toys. And if that's what you want to do with your toys, I think that's okay. In fact, I used to have a website. If anybody ever wants to have a laugh, go to the Wayback Machine online and look for Transformer Bastards. That was my website. I created it, and it was a place where I posted articles and photos of my different Transformer projects. So, if you want to see what I used to do to my toys and what I used to write on the internet about it, it wasn't a very good site, but, you know, it was my site. So, yeah, you know, look up transformerbastards.com. It's no longer there. I no longer keep it maintained. But anyway, natural robot enhancement. Thank you, Colleen. Natural robot enhancement. This is Bob. Bob is living large. I'm giving Bob some head. So, am I allowed to say that? Look, I made his head attached, okay? I gave him a head. That's all I'm saying. Oh boy, there goes my monetization. Okay, so that's Wedge and Hightower and Heavy Load. Now we need to talk about Grimlock. Notice that I'm pulling out Scavenger when I talk about Grimlock. Grimlock has required some serious attention, and here's why. As you saw when they were combined and Grimlock was the arms, which for some reason that was like the default version of Landfill. They always had Grimlock as the arms, and he makes terrible arms. Okay, these skinny little tread with these little flappy thing hands. Okay, they're shitty ass arms. I'm sorry. Here, look. Let's just. So, these are crappy arms. Okay, thank you. So you know. So yeah, he makes very bad arms, and let's go ahead and transform him into robot mode, just for a moment. Oh, it's going to take longer than that. This guy, he's something. And this is where the set suffers. I think that's the best way to put it. The set just suffers with Grimlock. Grimlock, his name doesn't make sense, especially in context with the character that originally had that name. The toy, you know, it's... You're gonna see it. Oh, AJ, you're leaving! Oh, I'm so sorry. So... AJ is taking off. Don't drink and drive, AJ. I know, we're all stuck at home. We're not driving anywhere. So that makes it okay to drink apple juice and then walk to your living room. So, so you know, we do the legs. There's some weird stuff that goes on with the arms. So you pull out the shoulders, and then let's just do. We're almost there. Almost there we go. So So this is Scavenger slash Grimlock. Maybe it goes like this. I don't understand. I just don't understand. Let's go to the super close so that you can take in exactly what we've got here. So this is what his arms do. Yeah, it's... Oh, Colleen is leaving. Oh, everybody say bye to Colleen. Sorry, Colleen. This one... Wait, here, I have to switch to the camera. That one's for you, Colleen. Sorry to see you go. So, yeah, you know, we really do need that slow injured transform noise, especially for this guy. He looks like he's begging for forgiveness. Like, please, please, I'm not that bad. Let's go to the other camera here. Yeah, so that's him. And, you know, the arms, like, I tried to, like, dig out a little bit so that he had some more mobility here, and all I did was succeed in making it so that it falls off. But it's kind of, I think that's how it originally went, and then there's this, and it's, and see, you know, you can, I just don't know what to do with him. You know, he's kind of like, yeah. So Grimlock has problems, and he has major problems, and you know, like I said, the arm just keeps wanting to pop off, and you know, the hands, like the little claw hands, I just the legs are you know, there's so many joints in here that he doesn't hold a pose. It's just bad. It's just bad. And when he's transformed into vehicle mode, oh, Colleen is staying. Oh, yay. Okay, this one's for Colleen staying. I am going to be in serious trouble here if people keep going and staying. Because the head's already starting to spin. Okay, I'm just letting you know the IQ is dropping at this point. So, yeah, when he's in vehicle mode and when you have him transformed as Landfill and you use him as a leg, because the legs are so spindly, he makes a bad leg. You know, he just kind of, the treads come out, and so he doesn't work well as any appendage. His robot mode is awkward and just doesn't quite make sense. I don't know what to do with it, and you know, it's yeah, he's just bad. He's just bad. I'm sorry. I know that somebody worked really hard to engineer all the complicated joints that make him up to get him to be something like this. And I'm sorry because I hate telling you that it sucks. But this is bad. It's just bad. And so, I had to do some serious work on Grimlock. And that is where we get to my version of Grimlock. Now, see, what I showed you before, you know, you saw my Landfill, and it had these arms. But this is actually the bottom half of a Grimlock that I ordered online that I attached just so that I could show you what the original robot mode looked like. That's not how my current Landfill looks. Let's find him. I've got a pile of toys here. Ah, here he is. Okay, so this you're gonna recognize some things here. And let me do some transforming. I probably should have had this ready. I'm sorry. I made the decision to put on the other parts right before we went live, and so he's still transformed as part of Landfill. That's good. That's good. See, that was exciting. That was some exciting stuff. So this is my Grimlock, and let me put him on the other cam. So this is him, and you see he's got some leg kibble here. He's got this attached to the leg, and you can see that he is using the high tower body. He's actually using the high tower body that came from my old high tower when I attempted to build the head into the vehicle form. But I have since put Grimlock's face on there, which was a little bit of a trick because even his head was different. And I'll show you the transform. So this is him, and he's got this kind of passenger compartment thing in the front. And so the head does this. It flips down like this, and then that flips down like that. And that makes a driver compartment. And then, like with heavy load and high tower, the shoulders fold in and the arms flip up. And then we put the heels in and we collapse the legs. And maybe, there we go. And then we flip down the feet. And now we take the backhoe and we attach it right here. And then we bend that in there. Okay, and then of course we have to have this part flipped up. There we go. Fold that underneath, if it'll go. There we go. Okay, so this is my Grimlock, and he is different. I will openly admit that he is not realistic. He doesn't look like a real backhoe. But he looks like some kind of a backhoe, some kind of a vehicle where the backhoe is on the back of the vehicle, and then the driver compartment is here, and he has the front of the vehicle here, and he still has the big knobby tires. And so this is his vehicle mode, just like that. And while it's oh, sorry. I was looking at the message. I thought the message had changed, but it had not. And, while I will openly admit that it is not as realistic as the original Scavenger vehicle, I'm willing to sacrifice that to have a much better robot mode, and he makes a much, much better appendage for Landfill. He just works better. So this is what I did, and I kind of wish that what they would have done is modeled Grimlock's engineering more off of this style. They could have made this just make up a tread and continued the tread pattern here and done something more like this. I guess they wanted to try and get that full functioning backhoe, but gosh, between having a good robot to play with and a good super robot to play with, having to sacrifice a good backhoe to play with, I'm willing to make that call. The designers obviously prioritized making the backhoe realistic and functional, and I respect that. It's a design choice, and that's what you have to do as a designer. You know, sometimes it's, you know, I remember hearing an engineer talking about how the whole discipline of engineering is balancing the different features that you want with the sacrifices that you have to make to get them. And so, you know, to have something that's a little bit better this way, you're going to take away from something on this side. And in the case of poor Scavenger here, or Grimlock, the sacrifice was that his robot mode suffered and his combined mode suffered. And I feel like, as a designer, sacrificing, and probably when it was in the engineering stage, it didn't seem like it was going to make it suffer. It's not like the designer thought, well, you know, the robot's mode's going to suck and it's going to be a lousy appendage, but hey, it'll be a great backhoe. I suspect that it wasn't until they had the tooling done and they had their early prototypes that they probably realized, oh, this robot mode is a little bit janky, and oh, when I build the super robot, it doesn't really work as a leg, so that's why they would always show this guy as the arms, and that didn't look so great either, but at least it could stand on its feet, and they just had to move forward from that point. But nonetheless, since they're my toys now, and I have bought and paid for them with my own money, then I get to cut them apart and rebuild them any way I want. And that's what I've done with Grimlock, and I have to say I'm very happy with this, and this may continue to evolve. You know, I'm not necessarily done, but I'm happy with this. I like it, and I especially like what I've got going on with this, with the way that this head works. You know, this goes, you know, like that and like that, and that is pretty cool. You know, that is kind of a cool thing. Is it? Yeah. So, is it a realistic vehicle that I've ever seen before? Not really, but it has enough vehicle-like features that I'm like, I'm just going to keep making that noise until people agree with me. Or that noise. So that is my Grimlock, and I'm going to show you how he combines with the other team, and I'm going to transform the team as I transform them, so that you can see the difference between the way that they always show him transformed and I mean, you know, there's ways that you can do without even kit bashing that are just better. I don't know why they do it. We'll talk about it. Okay, so in order to do that, I need to take that off, and I need to pull the legs out. Let's see here. And I really don't want to break my glue joints, so I need to be careful. So we've got, it doesn't hurt, and we've got the claw feet, and that's something we'll talk about too. You know, the claw feet that become hands, that's sort of a thing, but all right. So the hinges here are really tough. They are very tight. There we go. And I'm always afraid of breaking them, but I haven't broken them yet. And believe me, I've tried. So not intentionally, but you know, Yes, that's it. So, and we'll give them a little bit of elbow and a little bit of elbow on that side. Okay, so, and actually we're going to move those out of the way so that wedge can combine. Okay, so this is the arms of Landfill, and then we're going to pull that off, and then pull this out. And let's see, this, needs to go like, whoops, like that. And here's one difference that I'm going to do in the way that I transform him. You put the feet out, you put the front wheel out. You can put the back wheel out as well for extra stability. I'm going to extend the legs of the robot, give him a little bit more height, and also give him the ability to have a bit of a knee joint. So, Matt White is here. Oh, Matt White! Hey! Matt White, you have missed me ranting about Grimlock, Scavenger, aka Robots in Disguise Grimlock, and how he has these weird flappy claw arms. And you've also missed me polish off one glass of this already, but this is for you. And I am feeling my apple juice, Matt White. So everybody else, fill in Matt White on what he's missed. But yeah, so you can kind of get a little bit of a knee joint there if you want it. And then I'm going to rotate the passenger compartment here, and I'm going to flip this up and angle it towards the rest of the leg so that it looks like that. And then I'm going to take heavy load and transform him. Flip this around. Flip this up. Put the feet together. And that's actually all you really have to do. Oh, let's take this out. Okay, so we have him transformed. So now and we put the feet out. So now we're going to take heavy load, and this is so cool. Okay, watch this. So these guys just go together like that. Just like that. I love that. That's pretty cool. And I'm going to put a little bit of space there. And then we take the arms, and they also go together just like this. You see how those interlock? I'm gonna do a super close view here. So, that. Oh, yeah, I have to put the lens on. So, there, look at that. That is such a neat thing. That is awesome. And look at how it creates this hole. And see this. Okay, so on the back of Wedge right here, see how that has that round with these little studs there that fit with the hole pattern made by these three pieces. That is brilliant. That is so cool. I mean, somebody has a really big brain, and they have a bigger brain than I do, because I don't think I would have come up with that. That is just that's why I love this set, even though there's obvious things that could use improvement. So for Wedge here, we're going to transform him mostly into a bulldozer. Flip the legs around here. The feet flip up and peg into the side right here. Just like that. And then, we'll do it on the other side. It's going to flip around. Maybe. Give me a knee joint. There we go. And you straighten out the foot, and then there's the peg and the hole on the bottom of the foot, and that just goes in there like this. And then you put these down. Okay, now here's where I'm going to do things differently than what you always see in the pictures. And I don't know why you never see them this way. This is so much better. So they actually have a little hole right here and a little peg right here. Now, for some reason, the Devastator version doesn't have that second hole on the side of the bulldozer, but the Walmart exclusive version does. And so that enables you to put the treads up and next to... Oh, wait, no, wait, here. Is it like... Yeah, it's like that. Okay. And then we can do this. And then if we want to get a little bit more of a shoulder, we can pull these up and then leave the shovels up. You know, so instead of extending these out and doing this goofy thing to give him a skinny chest and then this unnecessary thing, let's bulk up the chest and raise these up and give him a higher shoulder. That is way better. So, and then we open up the canopy and we reveal the super robot head. And actually, I'm going to need to disengage these for just a second in order to interlock it with the rest of him. So I wonder if I can show this on the super close. I'm going to try. So we have this, and we have this, and this is just going to plug in right here. Let me try and show that. I'm going to twist it a third of a turn, put it in, and then rotate it just like that. And, yeah. And so now there's some pegs on the back of Wedge that go into some holes on the structure of the arms, and they just go in there like that. And then let's just kind of peg these treads back into those holes. And he's most of the way there. Now you still have this piece. Now they always want to make this piece like a cod piece. I don't like that either. Yeah, he doesn't need a cod piece. Instead, I put it up here as a chest accent, you know, just to kind of pull everything together here. So this is how I transform him. Yeah, that's pretty cool. And let me put him on the other camera. So, you know, this is with the new Grimlock arms. Now, one thing that I still am not a huge fan of is that he doesn't have... His feet kind of suck. Okay, you see the wheels as feet. That doesn't work. So I've created these. I haven't figured out how to integrate them into the design yet. I only did this last weekend, and I haven't played with it much. So I'm just going to plug these in there, and then, you know, plug this one right in here. There we go. Oh, what? And oh, I keep knocking it off with my thumb. There we go. So now he has feet. Boy, it does not want to stay. Stay there. Stay. Okay, good robot. Boy, it really... All right, so there we go. And the other thing that I'm experimenting with, I'm not a big fan of the claw hands. And so I drilled some holes in all of the characters' feet. And this is just temporary. This is an old Bruticus fist that I found that I had extra. I don't know how I have extra, but I do. And that's a Defense War fist. And for some reason, I don't have a matching set, but I have one of each. So, you know, I gave him some actual fists. And that is my version of Landfill, and I have to say that I like it a lot better. Let's go ahead and put together and Okay, and they've never done a remake of Landfill. That's the thing. Landfill is an odd character in that he was in Robots in Disguise, and we have never seen him revisited. The name Landfill was used by a Gen 1 late Gen 1 double target master who was a dump truck, who apparently, according to his bio, smelled real bad. And you know, I kind of like the idea that he was a stinky transformer, because Blot was one of my favorite Decepticons, and that was his whole deal. He smelled bad. He oozed lubricant that smelled real bad, and the other Terracons didn't like him because he smelled bad. So yeah, let's go ahead, and I'm going to attempt to transform Grimlock. I'm going to make him a leg this time, so that you can see. Did Blot smell like the differentially? Oh, you know what? Okay, so I never really thought about this, but Monica just brought it up. When I changed the differential on my truck, there's this gear oil that you have to put into the differential. And it is the nastiest, stinkiest stuff that you have ever smelled. It smells like death. I mean, I didn't realize that they used feces as a lubricant, but apparently they do, and they market it as gear oil. It is nasty. It stinks to high heavens. And it's funny because somebody must have known that when they wrote the bio for Blot, and they talked about how he oozed this stinky lubricant because it's obviously gear oil. So, just in case anybody's ever changing the differential on their vehicle, the gear oil smells like liquid death. So, anyway, I'm getting close to transforming Grimlock, aka Scavenger, here. Oh, there goes his arm again. Thank you. That's better. My voice is getting raw. Okay, there we go. So that goes in there, and then that goes. Oh wait, that goes like that, and then this. These go down here like this. No. Ugh. Ah, okay, so these go like this. Okay, so there is Grimlock as a leg, and as you can see, the legs are very wobbly. For a long time, what I did with my other Grimlock is there's a hole in here and a hole in the other side, and I had made a post that would stretch from one to the other to shore it up, and that helped. But you know, he definitely needs some help. And let's go ahead and turn him into something, maybe. And do that. And put the wheels out. And put these guys together like that. And give that a thing. There we go. And that's just so bad. Oh, also, you have to extend the feet. There's like a little stretch joint right there that extends, which never stays that way. So when you use Grimlock as a leg, he's always kind of lopsided. But we'll try. We're going to try. And then we have Hightower, who gets to stay Hightower. Nice that he gets to keep his name when he turns evil. And yay! Yeah, we gotta do something to fill the dead air when I'm transforming these guys. And
Roger.
they take so long, and I'm sorry for that. But you know, I don't know how to fix that. You know, actually, early on,
Why, you lazy crap for crap.
I am a lazy crap for crap. It's true. So when we were first trying to do live streams, I tried recording video sequences of different characters so they didn't have to transform these while I was on camera, so that you wouldn't have to sit there and watch me transform these things while I was on camera. And it just didn't work. You know, the technology fought me, and it kind of detracted, believe it or not, from the whole live stream. So, and Monica was like, just transform the toys and talk to people. And I did listen to her eventually, and that's...
I'm the clever one, you're the potato one.
You know, and she really is the clever one, and I really am the potato one. What is that from? Is that an episode of The Doctor? I know it's Matt Smith, obviously, but I was wondering if that was actually from an episode of Doctor Who, or if it was from some other thing. So I know we're wasting time debating about Matt Smith and.
Who says I'm investigating? Do you think I'm going to start investigating just because some bird smiles at me? Who do you think I am?
Sherlock Holmes.
Okay.
Don't be clever, Strax. It doesn't suit you.
Sorry, sir.
I'm the clever one, you're the potato one.
Okay, well, now we know that it's from, I think, one of the Christmas episodes, and Matt Smith was talking to Strax, which, you know, he should be nicer to Strax. Strax was awesome, but nonetheless, Strax was also a bit of a potato, so he was accurate. All right, so there we go. Now we have Constructicon Devastator from the Universe line.
And now for something completely different.
And we have him transformed. Now, I will say that the upper body is a lot better, having, I believe that it's high tower, and it would be just as good with heavy load as the arms, but then you've got this. This is what this... Look, it doesn't even quite make it to the ground. Wait here, let's. Oh, wait here. Let me. I think that there's some issues here. Let me try and twist him. There we go. Okay, so, there we go. Okay, so we've got him doing his thing, and I think that we can probably pull that up just a little bit. Okay, and there we go. We have Constructicon Devastator, who just lost his codpiece. You know, this is supposed to be...
nature of the medical emergency.
This is supposed to be a family-friendly podcast. It's not really... I don't know the difference between a live stream and a podcast. Just so you know, I don't know the difference. Let's go to the cheap cam here.
Roger.
And we're going to set him here. And we're going to put this Constructicon Devastator over here. And notice the Grimlock's legs here are a real problem. He is standing on the leg. And it looks fine as long as you don't mess with it. But there's nothing making this hold its shape. If I try to position him, the legs are just, they're just floppy. And there's not a lot that you can do to stabilize them unless maybe you add something in here the way that I had with my old one. So, yeah, it's bad. And the only nice thing about having Grimlock, or in this case Scavenger, as a leg is that he's got substantial looking arms. But nonetheless, having these things up on the shoulders doesn't really add much to the design, and it makes him have a really skinny body when he has these big fat legs. So you compare that to having him transform this way with the treads next to the body here and the shovels up here. I just think that it looks so much better. I don't think that I'm going to go with the artificial fists, but I'm also still looking for a better solution than just the kind of flappy claw hands. Here, let me do these. The flappy claw hands are okay, but I just feel like he would look better with something else. And if I could integrate them into the vehicle design somehow, and I can integrate these pieces into the vehicle design somehow, I think it would go a long way to really making him look nice. I do like having two of these supports, since I'm using two wide load bodies, then that means that I've got a support on this side that can go up, and it just makes the thighs, it gives the illusion of the thighs being more robust rather than being connected by these little things, which I guess is why they put this codpiece here so that you don't see them. So that, okay. So that is Landfill. And despite his various really fascinating design choices and uniqueness, and the things that I've had to fix, I love this set. I love these characters, and okay, I don't love Grimlock. I'll just say I don't love Grimlock, but I'm happy with kit bashing Grimlock into a new toy and making it work. I love the way that this guy looks. I would love to see what they would do with a modern version if it was during one of the too much apple juice. So, apple juice is smooth. So as long as it was during one of the lines where they were doing the really nice detailed toys, you ever notice how they'll do a really nice line and then a line that's still decent, but you can tell that they're kind of cost cutting, and then they'll do a really crappy line. And then the next one will be nice again. And they kind of go in this cycle of 3 or 4 years at a time, going downhill, and then it's like, oh, this is really bad, and then they'll up it again. And so if they were on one of those up lines where they were really doing nice stuff, I would love to see what they would do with a modern incarnation of this set of characters. I would be very interested, and keeping the 4 character team. I would kind of hate to see them just repaint the Combiner Wars Devastator yellow and say, oh look, it's Landfill. That's not as cool. They could use Grimlock from Combiner Wars. Wait, the dinosaur Grimlock from Combiner Wars. You know, they'd have to give him a steam shovel for a head. So make him one of those Constructosauruses. Yes, I guess if they made Grimlock from, like, I guess it would be Power of the Prime's Grimlock, and made him a Constructosaurus, replaced his legs with treads, still give him a dinosaur head. No, I don't want to see that. Imagine that Scorponok except as a dinosaur. So, oh, the giant Scorponok that they're coming out with. Oh no, the Energon Scorponok. So, for those who don't know, during the Energon series, they came out with a Scorponok, and it was awesome. It wasn't big, but it was cool, and they made him a construction machine. It was, you know, kind of construction-esque. He had treads for legs, and he still had the big claws, but his tail had a hook on it, so it was obviously some kind of... Oh, here we go. So this is Energon Scorponok, and I love this toy. It's a construction equipment, but obviously alien. It's got these big steam shovel styled claws. So, you know, you could imagine that this would be used for either digging or just taking buildings apart. It would be a great demolition machine. It has this hook here. So I could see a Grimlock kind of done in this style, you know, sort of a hybrid between a dinosaur and a construction machine. That would be pretty cool. Okay, I guess that's where you're going. Okay, so that's Monica's pick for a reimagining of Landfill. And I don't know if you'd need to do that for Landfill, or that would just be a kick-ass thing to do with Grimlock. But yeah, this toy is amazing. So that's anyway. Getting back to Landfill, love this toy. Would love to see them do a new version. Looking forward to finishing the mods. You know, because he's not quite done yet. I still want to figure out, you know, some kind... I'm thinking of maybe making better claws for him. You know, he'll still have claws rather than fists, but making something that actually can you know, pinch something rather than just sort of these little flappy things on the top and bottom that can't actually grip. So, yeah, that is my Landfill. And well, okay, you know what? Matt White says that he would still love to see a yellow Devastator from the Combiner Wars line, except for Gen 2 reasons. And yeah, you know what? That would be pretty awesome. I would be okay with that. But I would, if they were going to do Landfill, I would love to see them actually really do Landfill and not just make him a clone of Devastator. So I think we're there. It's been over 2 hours, and I've had a lot of apple juice at this point, and my throat is about to give out. So I think I need to say goodnight to everybody. Thank you. Seriously, thank you everyone once again. You guys signing on is so awesome. I'm so glad to see you and see you talking to everybody else and sending messages back and forth. I mean, you know, this makes my weekend. And so thank you everyone who is joining in the chat, and everybody who's just watching and even not chatting, but thank you for just signing up and taking part. It means the world to me that you're willing to spend your Friday evening watching me talking about toys. So, with that, I think I am going to sign off. And everybody, have a great weekend. And as always, stay safe. Take care of yourselves and take care of the people around you. This is as this whole thing goes on, it's getting hard for people. It's getting hard for people who can't work. It's getting hard for people who are extroverts and want to go out and socialize and can't. Today, so Monica had a great idea. And what's funny is I'd actually thought about this earlier this week. My Aunt Sherry is in a care home right now, and she's fighting cancer, and that's rough. It's always rough. And so she, right now they have that place on lockdown. No visitors, no contact. And the only time that she's getting outside of those walls is when she has to leave for a doctor visit. So, she's eating her meals in her room, and she's not even getting to see the other people, the other residents. So what we did was we drove to the building, and we parked in the parking lot right outside her third story window, and then we called her from the car, and we said, we called her up, and I said, hey, go to your window overlooking the parking lot and take a look. And she opened the windows, and she was so happy. It was just tremendously heartwarming. I really think that it meant a lot to her. I know it meant a lot to me. It was so great to actually be able to see her. And we were very far apart, but we could actually visit with her. And I think it made her day. It made my day. So you guys have made my night. My Aunt Sherry made my day. But if there are people in your lives that are in tough situations like that, then find creative ways to reach out to them, because we're all in this together, and we're going to get through it, and it's going to be okay. But that doesn't mean that it's not going to hurt. So let's try to mitigate the hurt. So this is Clay Carlino telling you to be brave. Have a wonderful night. People might be waiting for me to say something, but I haven't said anything. So they're waiting for nothing.